Hey, Potter Than Hellions, welcome back to the Potter Than Hell podcast for this special episode from Rockin' Pod 3 in Nashville, Tennessee. This is myself, and on keyboards today is
Dylan.
And we are just doing a short intro here to the interviews we're going to play for you guys today. These happened at the Rockin' Pod Expo in Nashville probably a couple weeks ago by the time you hear this. And today's episode is going to be the interview that we had with Michael Sweet and the guys from Roxy Blue. So I hope you guys enjoy this. And before we do, what do you think, Dylan?
Yeah, it's cool that you guys were able to get such awesome artists to be interviewed. I was afraid that you wouldn't be able to get anybody, but thankfully that wasn't the case.
Yeah, it was great interviewing those guys, and you could definitely hear the sincerity of Michael Sweet on our interview, and you could definitely hear the enthusiasm of the guys in Roxy Blue on this interview. So without further ado, here comes Michael Sweet and Roxy Blue.
Hey, Michael, thank you for sitting down with us, taking some time. And I talked to you briefly earlier. We got a picture taken. And I love how you are so positive in your music and everything you do. And there's a lot of negativity out there in the world. And it's refreshing to have an artist like you just be positive.
Thanks, brother. I try, but at the same time, I want to be very honest. You know, and people ask me questions all the time, and I give my opinion, and it upsets people sometimes. So, but I always try to be positive and encouraging to people. You know, but my motto is to just be an open book, man. Tell them the truth, tell them what you're really feeling, and everything else will fall into place.
Right, excellent. And you have a new solo album
coming out October 11th. 11.
All right, it's called 10.
It's called 10.
And your last 3 Stryper albums, I think, you guys are just getting better and better, I think, as you go along. A lot heavier, a lot harder, and you produce all of them too, correct?
I produce the albums and produce the Sweet Lynch albums, the solo albums, and I've really taken a liking over the years to producing. You know, and the thing is, people don't realize, but I grew up in a studio. I mean, I was in my dad's sessions when I was 12 years old, and I learned a lot as a kid. And really, all the Stryper albums are co-produced as well. People just don't know that.
Okay.
And that's fine. But production is a big deal to me. I get into it. I'm a knob turner, man. I like to try to make things sound the best they can sound.
I love that because when you guys were recording I think it was the first Sweet Lynch album,
yep.
You guys did a lot of video when you guys were recording.
Yeah.
And I love that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like our listeners know that I'm like a nut for just watching the process of music being made. How do you go about that? Are you a guy that would rather be in the room recording with the people you are, or like a send a file kind of thing?
I think it works either way. I prefer to be in the room. Especially with the drummer.
Easier to lock in?
Yeah, that's the foundation. You're building the house upon. You got to be there for that. Brian had suggested, Brian Tishy, having him track drums at his house, and I'm like, no. Great idea, thanks, but no thanks.
Right.
So I made it a point as a producer to have him there. Flew him out, spent the money, we made it happen. But George did his guitar tracks at his home studio.
Right.
And that's okay. Because George had the bass to record to, the drum tracks, some rhythm guitars. There was a foundation, and I knew that George wasn't going to screw it up. George is a veteran. He's in his first rodeo, so I trusted, and sure enough, he killed it, It was great.
Absolutely. And could you talk a little bit about how the music industry is now? A lot of bands you'll hear will say, rock is dead and we don't record albums because they don't make money and everything. But you are consistently recording with Stryper, with your solo stuff, with Sweet Lynch. How do you think that is, that people don't want to do that? It's got to be some kind of a creative outlet. I don't know how people can just stagnate like that.
I think what happens, there's a number of things that could happen and be taking place. They could be just bored. They could be lazy. They could be money-driven, where it's all about making a lot of money on recording, and if they're not, they don't want to do it. And that says a lot.
Right.
It could be a number of things. But, the thing is with Stryper and the way I'm built is I'm driven to record and produce and create new music. Without money, with money. If I don't have money, I'll find a way to make it happen. And I've done it before, multiple times, where I went in the studio with no money, figure out a way to make it happen. And you know, I have a passion about it. I started out for the love of the song. I'm going to go to my grave for the love of the song. It's not about making the money off of the project or, you know, getting rich or, you know, I'm not lazy. I love working. I love what I do. So I think I'm a rarity to some degree in this field, if you want to call it that. I love making music, man. And then I've got music flowing out of me so much so, that's why I do an album every year, sometimes 2 albums in a year. Because I've had a good run, you know, and it's still going, and I'm very thankful for that.
Which is great. We're so glad that it's always nice to see, hey, a new Stryper album coming out, or it seems like you do have something out every year, at least one.
Every year.
And how do you think that it's going, you guys? That it seems like you're getting heavier. I don't know if you feel that or not.
I do, and there's there's a plan for that. We've talked about that, like, you know, let's stay on this path. And also, we've gone back to our roots. Like, it was very important for me as a writer and a producer to go back before we recorded No More Hell to Pay, and listen to Soldiers Under Command and To Hell with the Devil. And I listened to those albums for months, and I came back full circle to our roots and thought, wow, okay, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh wow, yeah, that's how we did that. And we applied that to No More Hell to Pay, and every album since.
That's great. And my son Dylan does the editing and everything for us.
Yep.
And when I played him Yahweh,
yeah,
he was like blown away.
Yeah.
And he's like I'm a Stryper fan now, like instantly.
Wow.
And
wow.
And that song is so heavy. I'm like, just.
It is.
Crazy.
It's different for us. It's probably our most epic song. You know, it's 6.5 minutes long.
It doesn't feel that long though.
No. And it's got sections where it starts off kind of maidenish, and then it's got a little bit of a Priest vibe at points, and then it goes to like a Metallica vibe.
Right. In
the breakdown. You know. So it's kind of got this really eclectic mix of styles. But at the same time, it's very Stryper, you know? It's a cool song. It's probably my favorite modern Stryper song.
Okay.
It's my favorite.
What would be your favorite classic Stryper song?
My favorite classic Stryper song would probably be, that's a toss-up between songs like Soldiers, More Than a Man, Rock That Makes Me Roll. You know, there's 3 or 4 of them.
I absolutely love Surrender.
Surrender's a good one, yeah.
Surrender is a phenomenal
That's
song.
a good one.
And I have to tell you, we saw you guys at M3, I think 3 years ago, you guys played there last.
Right.
And there's probably, actually the first time you guys played M3.
Yep.
We were in the 20th row, dead center.
Yeah.
You are an amazing pick flicker. We were in the 20th row, and you hit the guy standing next to me in the chest with a pick. We were 20 rows back, and it hit him at speed. The guy's like, what the hell? He thought he got stung by something. I'm like, I grabbed it up, like
it's dangerous, right? Because I could hit an eye and put an eye out. Oh, man, heaven forbid. But I remember back in the days, we used to throw out Bibles, and Robert would tape them and sling them, and it hurt people.
Right.
One guy broke his nose.
Oh, really?
He had bloody nose. Oh, yeah, no. So you got to be careful.
Just give him the toss now, right?
You got to be, exactly.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, you guys are so dynamic live, and this last time you guys played him, you guys kind of got screwed on your time.
Yeah. It's all right. I mean, you know, what happens is if they're running late for the next band, that band, unfortunately,
someone's got to pay that tab.
That set gets shortened.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you can keep running late.
Right.
So that's what happens a lot of times, and it seems like it happens to us more often than most other bands.
That happens. Absolutely.
Yeah, Steve, with your solo album, you're gonna try to do a little tour with that, or is it just gonna be just put out and?
I'm hoping to. The solo album comes out October, and then I start on a new Stryper album with Stryper. And then next year, I'm hoping to go and do some solo dates.
Oh, okay.
I really hope.
Nice.
I hope that we can do that.
Right.
Because I haven't toured since 2001 as a solo artist.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I got to try to make it happen, man, because it's long overdue.
Do you have musicians in mind to?
Yeah, I do, but it may not work. Like I love Joel Hoekstra, and he's very busy. I wouldn't mind putting together a local band, to try to make that happen. And it'd probably be more cost effective to do it that way with a local band. But I don't know, man. It remains to be seen until it actually happens.
That's great. And who do you have guesting on your solo?
Oh God, I've got Jeff Loomis of Arch Enemy.
Wow.
I've got Andy James, who's an amazing European guitar player. Joel Hoekstra, Ethan Baroche, Tracy Guns, Rich Ward of Fozzy, Marzi Montazari, who played with Phil Asamo, Gus G played for Ozzy Osbourne, Howie Simon, and Mike Kerr. Oh gosh, who am I forgetting? I hope I'm not forgetting anybody. I probably am. And then I'm playing as well. I'm doing all the rhythms and I'm doing 2 solos.
All right. And I truly believe that you are a vastly underrated lead guitar player.
Oh, dude.
I mean, I love Oz, don't get me wrong, but like, you are amazing guitar player.
You know what? My technique and my style is different. I'm not a shredder. I'm not
More melodic.
I'm more melodic, and I'm more of a note and vibrato kind of guy. Like I grew up, one of my favorite players was Michael Schenker. I love Michael Schenker. And Randy Rhoads was another influence. Eddie Van Halen was another influence. But I was never influenced by guys like Yngwie. I never got into that.
Right.
A lot of the shredders were. The guys that shred, they go to Yngwie first, which Yngwie's phenomenal.
Oh, he is, absolutely.
But that's not
It's a
me.
different type.
Yeah, that's not me. But I appreciate it, man. And I'm a guitar player first. I started playing guitar before I started singing. And it's funny because a lot of people to this day come up to me after a show and say, I never knew you played guitar. And I'm like, wow. I say this nicely. I say, how is that possible?
Really?
I'm playing in all the videos.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of the videos?
Apparently they're not.
That's
not
insane.
Yeah, and you can tell even on the albums the different tones.
Right.
Oh yeah, no, we have a different style.
So I don't know if they're just not really paying attention. I mean, like I listen to
really
all that
wild,
stuff,
man.
And you can tell.
Yeah.
So it's like listening to Iron Maiden. You can tell.
Absolutely.
Who's playing the solos in that band.
And I like.
Same with Stryper.
Who do you prefer in Iron Maiden? I
Adrian
prefer
Smith.
Adrian. Me too.
Adrian Smith.
Because he's got more of a vibrato and feel.
And he's more precise, I think.
Yeah.
Playing, and I think that's how
Yeah, no,
kind
totally.
of vibe that you give out playing lead guitar.
I appreciate it, dude. That's very kind of you.
Oh, no problem.
Thank you.
I mean, I was always just amazed just of how you're not put out there with guitar players like that.
Because I'm a singer.
That's
I think
true.
that's why.
I can
Because I'm
see
a
that's
singer. If
true,
I
too.
didn't sing, I probably would be
That's
a
true.
little bit more in that crowd.
Right.
But it's because I sing. People look at me as the singer, you know.
You did bulk of the guitar work when you played with Boston.
I play guitar on stage, man, on every song, and did harmonies with Tom and all kinds of stuff. Oh yeah. And it's funny, a quick story about that is Tom didn't know I played guitar. I learned everything on guitar and brought it in. He's like, oh wow, and we started playing. He's like, oh my gosh, you know. He goes, this is a quote from him. He said, this is the best the guitars have ever sounded.
Really?
That's what Tom Schultz. And so that was like, wow.
That had to be just amazing playing that first album of Boston.
Incredible.
That is an album that it just, you can put that on any time, and the production on it,
Yeah.
For when it was made, it's
Timeless.
amazing. It's
Timeless.
amazing.
It'll never get old.
It's amazing. What was your favorite Boston song to
Ooh, favorite song to play
I know you
live?
did Peace of Mind
I think
on-
was Long Time.
Long Time?
With that intro.
The intro. Oh, yeah.
Foreplay. And Long Time. That was fun, man.
That had to
Doing
be
that whole
badass.
thing live was like, yeah, you know.
I'm kicking myself that I never got to see Boston like ever, especially when you were playing with them.
You never know. Maybe someday
That would be
I
awesome.
may rejoin and do more dates with them if they continue on. Tom, I know, the clock is ticking
Right.
in terms of not touring anymore.
Their drummer just passed away recently too.
Sid, but I mean, Sid wasn't in the band. They had a different drummer. But I mean,
Okay.
Tom's 72 or 73 years old, and they haven't toured for 3 or 4 years. So I don't know if they're done now, or not.
I hope not.
I hope not too.
Yeah, that would be great just to see him
Tom
back in there.
takes care of himself. He's in good shape, and I see many more years coming out of him. But maybe who knows? Maybe I'll do it with him again at some point.
Okay, awesome. Michael, thank you for joining us. We have to wrap up.
Thanks, brother.
We have many more to talk to.
All right, brother.
Appreciate it.
Hey.
All right,
And,
thank you, sweet.
all
Thank you,
right,
sir.
come on anytime.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks, buddy.
Much appreciated.
Let's start it out, balls to the wall. Let's talk about the album.
Let's talk about
Self-titled, talk about it. What's
Well,
up? Plug
self-titled.
it. It just came out on Friday. We listened to it on the way down from Pennsylvania.
Kick ass.
Right on. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Man, it's self-titled. We had talked about some different titles, and man, everything we've done. We had Want Some, and Roxy Blue Want Some. There's a tag on it, and then F&A released some stuff, and we had Want Some More. We had Strip. We had Live at Night Moves, and I think it just got to a point where we were like, man, let's let the music do the talking. I think Scotty T's the one that brought it up and said, look, we don't need a tag, man. Let's just let the music do the talking. We'll call it Roxy Blue and let the rest of it just take it, fall in line. So that's how that came about.
Right. Awesome. Hey, now, what is the difference? Is there a difference recording the albums now compared to back in 1992?
Are you kidding?
I didn't know if you guys still get in the same room and jam the fuck out, or you're sending each other click tracks over
A little bit of both, but back then, our album was cut on tape. When Mike Klink had to change something, he had to get in there with a razor blade and actually cut tape.
Well, and also
there was no
we
point in
cut
click.
a lot of different spots back then.
Yeah.
We cut our main tracks in a mobile truck in a big house in Malibu we lived in because of the room sounds, and then they took that. Then we went over because Tom Zutaut wanted for us to have everything possible in our life we could have. Tom Zutaut being the man who signed Guns N' Roses and Tesla and etc. and Motley Crue. Went over to Warner Brothers and let me do vocal tracks before they shut that down, right where Van Halen did their stuff. So, and we went to Steve Vai's house to cut guitars. We got the best of the best, so we moved around a lot to get different sounds, different studios, and what have you. But this time around, like Josh says, I think this time we still get in a room and jam, but it's just, I don't know, man. How would you explain
Well,
it?
the technology is completely different.
completely.
Now you have the ability to email a track to someone that's not even in town. They can play on it, send it back to you. So, in listening back to it, you never know where all the players were when they were playing together. We did record this in one room, in one place, and we just like to do it that way. But, we did use the current technology, the Pro Tools, and where you can point and click and move things without any effort.
Sound City, we're Sound City
not like
guys,
it used
man.
to be.
We've been there before. We're back in the day in Van Nuys, man. We like to jam. We're players, so we like to get in the room and hash it out. So beyond that, I know the next record we're going to get in the room and rock it out, man. And I think I wrote this record, pretty much this record, and they put everybody puts their stamp on it. That's what makes it a Roxy record. But especially Josh and Scotty got a chemistry, and when they play bass and drums, it just happens. And then Jeff, our new guitar player Jeff, he adds a lot to our sound, and so I think we found a good chemistry for the future. But man, I think the next record we'll probably get in a room and everybody bring some ideas and throw it against the wall and see if it sticks. And hopefully we'll have, 25 or 30 songs.
Well, Josh, you said that about Mike Klink. Back in the day, he's producing Whitesnake, Motley Crue. How did a young band like you from Memphis get him?
Because we got signed by Tom Zutaut at Geffen, who had just worked with him on Appetite for Destruction.
He was actually still working on Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 when we got
Zutaut, we had a good lawyer who knew him. He came out to see us at a showcase. They saw the showcase. They decided we were something they might be interested in. They actually came to a club we were playing that same night to see us play again. And I think they kind of saw how we work with the crowd and engaged it that way. And
It was packed, dude.
Yeah, and from what I understand, we were playing the first song, and Tom Zutot told our lawyer, Jim Zumwalt, I want to sign this band.
Well, he wrote it on a napkin, and
yeah.
I actually still have that napkin inside a Louis the 15th bottle of cognac or whatever. It's like, that was an expensive bottle, man. We went out to eat, so we stuck it in a pin in the cork and put it down in the bottle, and I gave it to my mother.
That's great. Do you give it to her for Mother's Day or birthday, or just give it to her?
Oh, man, I just gave it to her. I couldn't tell you what day of the week it was back then, to be honest with you, man.
And we didn't care either.
No.
That's great. How long did it take you to get this new album together? Have you been working on it for years, or just like let's go, let's do this?
Oh, no, I mean, when we got the call, we were actually doing a show for with Brett Michaels and Tour, and Every Mother's Nightmare was on that bill, too. Man, we were in rehearsals getting ready for that show. I don't even think we were even talking about getting back together as a band. We were just going to play and have fun with it. And we were taking a break and got a call from Nick Teeter from Frontiers. He was like, hey, man, we just signed Tour, and we want to sign you guys. And we were like, all right. So once,
All right, that's what we said.
well, I mean, really, once all that went down and we talked, our talk and their talk, the excitement was there, man. So we were ready. So the writing started right after that. I had written a lot of songs, but this record was fresh. There was a few ideas that I had musically that I had just started working on maybe before that, but they weren't anywhere close to being ready or nothing. But once we got the green light, we knew, hey man, we're going to make a real Roxy record. I think you have to approach it different to write a Roxy record. Even though it sounds different than One Some, it's still a Roxy Blue record. So, like I said before, these guys in the band, I write something and then they came in and put their stamp on it, man, and then the songs came alive. So yeah, it was all fresh, man.
That's awesome. You guys have any live shows coming up? Anything? I know you guys are going to be playing here today, doing some.
We're going to do an acoustic thing here. Our drummer Scotty hurt his eye last night or something. He's got to go to the doctor, so we're going to do it just acoustic. We just did a show with Warrant a couple weeks ago in Chattanooga, sold out. It was awesome. And I've got, I've been talking to, we've been negotiation right now about a new agent. We're talking to Bradley Entertainment right now. We got a couple different things we're talking about right now, and trying to get North America taken care of. We can't really do, I don't think, getting on a bus and doing what we did in the early days, and you don't have that tour support like you used to. So it's money. So you have to be selective, but we want to try to play as many places as we can. And then, of course, we got Frontiers working on overseas. So I think the objective for this band is to play as much as we can live, because that's why we got into this in the first place.
So Jeff, welcome to the band, right?
Yeah, glad to be a part.
Yeah.
Tell all your fans out there, where did you actually come from? How did you get this gig?
Mars.
I've been in the Memphis music scene for a long time and stuff, and I've been friends with these guys forever and played with several different artists and stuff. And so me and Todd know each other for a very long time. We did a benefit show together for Patrick with Tora, and that was our first time actually playing Roxy stuff. And then I just kind of sat around and waited on an opportunity. It's like, Todd was going to break the camera. And then I waited for that chance. It's like, I figured, I'd been out on tour with
What's up, Todd? How are you, buddy?
And when that dissipated, I kind of just stayed in touch with Todd. And then when the opportunity came, I took it.
Here you go, right?
That's my buddy, man.
That's awesome.
So,
Todd, can you touch on a little bit about how you were almost a singer and winger? I mean, Warren. I'm sorry.
Well, I've gotten that question a lot. So
okay.
That kind of went down. So Roxy had been working on we'd worked on new material. And we were actually rehearsing a bunch. And Doug Thaler came in town to listen to it, and he really liked it. But he told us, hey, man, you know, they're not going to do anything with this record. I mean, the Seattle wave has come through, and, you know, it's going to be shelved. You know, but you guys are obligated to do another record, so, I mean, who wants to waste their time? So I got a call. You know, Janie Lane actually discovered Roxy Blue in a club way back in the day. So I got a call, and it was like, hey, man, you know, I'm going solo. Let me fly you out here. The guys have been trying out people. Come out here and hang out. I was buddies with them, you know. So it wasn't really come out here and be our lead singer. Let's come out here. Let's write some songs together. Let's hang out. Let's go get drunk. We did all that.
Right.
And I had a blast. I still love those guys. And we recorded some cool stuff, man. And I've heard it's ended up on like Hollywood Underground and stuff. But man, you know, I don't want to get into the whole story about it. But I was with Tommy Lee and Doug Thaler, our manager, one night, and you know, Tommy gave me some word of advice, and it was all good. He was like, hey, dude, you know what? You guys didn't really make it big enough to where you can't rediscover yourself. You know, you can reinvent yourself, I mean. And I took those words to heart, man, and I mean, he loved the guys in Warren. He was cool with them, but he's like, Todd, you know, it's a weird time right now in music. People are searching. That will always been Janie's band back in the day, and I love those guys. They're my buddies, man. Warren, those are my brother. But Tommy was like, hey, and he told me that, and it stuck, and I went back home and started Saliva.
That was going to be my next question.
I knew it was. So I'm good at doing that.
You've been around the block a while here.
Well, I mean, it took me a couple of years. After I think I went back in about a year or so. I'd done a couple bands, and then Wayne Sweeney and we started Saliva, man, and I got back behind the drums again, man, and that was a fun time, man. You know, and then after Saliva, I did the. I don't want to touch too much on. I was with them for a long time, and we had our battles as far as when I got out, but about song rights. But that all worked out. And then I started 714, and 714 was a great band. I loved it, man. And like a lot of bands, and for whatever reasons, it kind of fizzled, and we had a good run. And I think things are meant to happen for a reason, because here I am sitting here with you guys with my best friends in the world in Roxy Blue. So
absolutely, and we can't wait for our listeners out there to hear your guys' album. I hope they have it. Do you guys have any copies of it with you today?
I've got a few personal copies. Why, you want one?
I do want one.
I can't give my personals away, man.
I didn't pre-order one because I was hoping you would have one.
Well, Frontiers was hoping to have some here, and there was a glitch in the order, in the delivery, so we got an email. So I think Chris had like some that he's like giving out today, like a handful. We'll talk in a little bit and see what happens. My wife, we'll see what happens.
Sounds cool.
Because you're cool, and we'll work something.
We appreciate it.
We'll work something out.
Yeah, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
CDs for shirts.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank you for spending time with us.
That was great.
Are you going to be around all day, aren't you?
We're going to be here all day.
You're not going to leave till I get you a CD, right?
Huh? That's right.
You're going to be one of those crazy fans.
Hey,
thank you guys. Appreciate it.
We get a picture, man?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, we got to get a photo, man.
That was great.
Okay, that was our first two interviews that we did at Rockin' Pod 3, and what'd you think, Dylan?
It was pretty inspiring. Honestly, I don't know how you guys got through without being in awe of these fine musicians.
Yeah, it was tough. Like BB said on our thing, here's guys that were, on our walls, as kids or younger men, I would say, not kids, but it was just cool to sit there and these guys made it easy to talk to because you just kind of threw a question out there and they just kind of totally ran with the answer, and it was very cool. The only bad thing is it was such a short time. You had to try to cram what you could into 15 minutes of time, which actually ended up being less than that because you you said hello in the beginning, and we had them do bumpers for us, and we got a couple pictures at the end. So they were probably between 10 and 12-minute interviews, but just the time we had with these guys was really cool, and we have information to get a lot of these guys back on to hopefully do a whole episode with. Nothing to say, Dylan?
No, you summed it up pretty well.
Okay. All right, so that's part 1, you guys. Next week we'll put out part 2, and next week will be the rock and roll residency guys. The guys, for you don't know who they are the guys, the 3 main guys in Ace Frehley's band and DeGene Simmons' band, who is Ryan Spencer Cook, Phil Schaus, and Jeremy Asbrock. These guys are fucking awesome. Wait till you hear their interview. It was really cool. And we will speak with the longtime and current bass player of Exodus, Jack Gibson. Has a ton of great stories. And I think when you listen to this, I think we may have gotten a little scoop from Jack. So stay tuned for next week. So until next time, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. We will see you next time, and there will be a next time.